The TRRC chairman, Dr. Lamin J. Sise, presents the report with a message of gratitude for the call of duty to country and government support during the process.
Your Excellency, the Commission worked intensively for nearly 3 years to fulfill its mandate through public hearings of the Commission and the Secretariat of the TRRC conducting outreach activities throughout the country to familiarize some of the Gambian population on the work of the TRRC. 393 witnesses testified before the Commission, the majority of which were victims. The witnesses also included self-confessed perpetrators.
The government is bound by law to issue a white paper within 6 months from the submission of the TRRC report outlining its plans for the implementation of the Commission's recommendations. Part of the President's remarks is that he is the architect of the Commission and that government will carefully study the report for actions that ensure justice, healing, and reconciliation for a peaceful Gambia.
Special way, I thank the witnesses and their families for their fortitude and courageous testimonies. I assure them that my government will ensure that justice is done. But I urge them to be patient and allow the legal process to take its course. That way, justice will prevail and we will be able to heal as a country and move forward united and stronger with greater determination.
Detailed in the report are human rights violations in 10 categories and abuses that resulted in the death of 240 to 250 Gambians and non-Gambians. The Deputy Chair of the Commission, Adelaide Sose, thanks the Commission's partners, Gambians and the government for supporting the Commission without any political interference.
So when we came to the time of presenting the report and were not able to meet the first deadlines, we always got a positive response. Do it because we want a quality report. So for that we are eternally grateful to Your Excellency, to the Minister and to his staff.
The Justice Minister Dauda A. Jallow describes today's ceremony as a historic moment considering the Commission's task and mandate.
Every journey comes to an end one day. They have accomplished the assignment that has been assigned to them, and they're here today to submit a report of the work that they've been doing for nearly the past 3 years.
In accordance with law, the Commission's report is not yet available to the public. Within 30 days of receiving the report, President Barrow is required to submit copies of it to the National Assembly, the UN Secretary General, and other regional and international organizations, as may be determined by the Justice Minister. It is only after fulfilling this legal requirement that the Justice Minister can make copies or summaries of the report available to the public. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Still on the TRRC report, the Gambia's Thrift, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission final report, delivered today to President Barrow, identifies and recommends to the government, amongst other things, the prosecution of those most responsible for gross human rights violations and abuses. The names of all those identified are mentioned expressively in the final report. Mahmoud Lamin Choi again.
Part of the TRRC's constitutional mandate was to uncover the truth for reconciliation, reparations, address impunity and prevent a repeat of violations and abuses committed during the last regime. After 871 days of public hearings from 393 witnesses, the Commission submits a report that addresses impunity to deliver justice and recommends reform. The TRRC's chairman, Dr. Lamin J. Sise, briefs the press.
This is distinguished from the practice of some commissions earlier, the Darfur Commission in particular, and the Kenya Commission. They had provided a sealed envelope that had a list of names that they thought they were recommending for prosecution. In ours, we did not put these names in a sealed envelope, but they are mentioned directly in the various reports.
Absent in the report is the recommendation for the granting of amnesty of perpetrators, which can only happen when, on application by a person who makes full disclosure of his or her involvement in human rights violations or abuses and expresses remorse for the act or conduct. The Commission reveals that no one has applied for amnesty. The TRRC chair updates us about reparations measures by the Commission.
The recommendations fall generally under the following categories. 1, prosecution of persons who bear the greatest responsibility for human rights violations and abuses. 2, further investigation of allegations concerning persons who bear this responsibility for human rights. With a view, this is we're recommending that some individuals be further investigated with a view to prosecuting them if that is necessary. 3, banning of individuals from public service. 4, repeal of draconian laws and decrees still in the law books. 5, legal and institutional reforms. 6, training and capacity building of security and other personnel.
As yet, the TRRC won't inform the press the names of those mentioned for prosecution in the report, as that will come to light when the appropriate time comes to provide public access to the copies.
The Commission also indicated in its report that the $50 million advance to the TRRC by the government for reparations is still being distributed to the victims. As at 24 November 2021, yesterday, 671 have received reparations.
The Commission's report, as legally required, contains measures for reconciliation, peace building, and recommendations for initiatives on human rights and peace building studies for children. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
President Barrow has condemned what he calls the politics of tribalism as he urged Gambians to embrace each other as a people who should see country above anything. He was speaking on Wednesday night at Jiboro Kuta as the NPP-led coalition campaign enters the Kombo region. Alusise reports.
Large crowds greeted President Adama Barrow on Wednesday night at Jiboro Kuta in Kombo East, East Coast region, as his campaign tour entered the Kombo region. The NPP-led coalition candidate is seeking the election as Gambians vote for president on December 4th. Addressing the meeting, the first in Kombo on his campaign tour, President Barrow said the loyalty of the people of Kombo East is unquestionable, something manifested by the huge turnout. The NPP-led coalition candidate denounced politics driven by tribal lines. He said all Gambians are equal and one family, advising that politics shouldn't divide them. He describes the Gambia as a country where everyone is interrelated, hence the need to promote social cohesion.
woto alingo badi ya continent din tema
kon nak mboko gogo nañ len ko continent ñu ne
kana fatam fanso naati
buñ indi xajaat lo
fatam fanso ma bedeya ata ñim banko sambala ñaatu
xajaat lo baaxu te du yóbbu réew mi ci kanam
abe banko murunda la komale barate banko sambala ñaatu
dafa delloo réew mi ci gannaaw du ñu yóbbu ci kanam
bari ku kilim bi je
waaye lennam amna
mo be sotta ñu na ka fo dem kayra président mo
ñepp nangu nañ ne man président Barrow président ni jàmmala
andu ba fa man la président Barrow bari ko ga do ko ke ko mo ngi toñaati
dëgg mun nga wax ne day buguma président Barrow waaye lu nit ci jàmm wala luy liggéey loolu dëgg.
Several speakers, including Sirifo Sonko, chairman of the Brikama Area Council, Umar A. Jallo, alias OG, an advisor to the PPP party, and Hamad Nkeba, leader of the National Reconciliation Party, NRP, advised and urged the people to be united and vote only for NPP for a better future. Speakers said so much transformation has happened in the last 5 years. They encouraged the president to remain committed to his development agenda. Nonetheless, the people of the district appealed for the construction of the Jiboro-Kuta Parabasutu Road and the fencing of women garden in Jiboro-Kuta, among others. President Barrow responded saying he will construct the road as part of the many roads he plans to construct in Kambo.
silo men bodo Brikama kata Bafulo to bo silo le kono
Brikama be Bafulo to bokk na ci yoon yooyu
silo men bodo Burfoot kata Madiana abo silo le kono
Burfoot Madiana ci yoon yooyu la bokk
o continue fo ka Kunguja Mariama
mo continue na be dem Kunguja Mariama
alañi kombo e silo le wala kono
ci yooni kombo isbi ci la bokk
sire kunda dasila be silo le wala kono
ak itam dasila be kunda itam ci la bokk
Brikama kono sila kendol men be Brikama kono sila bal me ala ko nyanda Brikama yalla wol fana be wala kono
yoon yooyu leen wara ubbi be Brikama itam de
Ibrahim Asila, Minister of Information and Communications, who chaired the meeting, also the president of Victory across all the polling stations in Combo East. In a similar engagement earlier on Wednesday evening, President Barrow wrapped up his meetings in the Fonyi region with two well-attended meetings at Buyam Infonyi Councillor and Somita Infonyi Prefect. At the Somita meeting, a group of people claiming to be former members of the APRC's faction group DOP, North Alliance Movement, declared joining the Fabaka Tumangata-led APRC NPP coalition. Sungaru Saho, who led the group, said they are proud to such allegiance, having seen the truth.
Am ngamenje je manya to taje je manse wo kuja nyeje man kontane kuja nyeje andu ngani lonko nimbulata ko no kan so mani ko wibaro mbe madale ngadu bon ko nga data on fam andu jandi mbo kala woto jamabe dame ngabula jamano.
The people of Fonyi Councillor and Fonyi Prefect hailed Barrow's administration for the giant strides in diverse sectors. They are confident that President Barrow can deliver more developments if we entrusted with the affairs of the country. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliu Sise.
Well, that report by Aliu Sise will take us to a commercial break, and when we return, we'll still have some more local and international news stories.
Marble is the Gambia's first ever election app designed to ease access to election information. The app also provides information on all past certified presidential, parliamentary, local government elections and by-election. Marble Gambia has a user-friendly interface, and thus its users will not experience any difficulties in navigating through the features of the application. Will also be able to interact with the source map to know which candidate is winning in every constituency. Luckily, Marble Gambia allows its users to receive live certified election results on election day. Download Marble Gambia today on App Store and Play Store and receive election results at your fingertip. This is brought to you by Gambia Participates and with support from National Endowment for Democracy and International Republican Institute.
Begin your SUV life. S-Pass Motors, the new authorized dealer for Kia. Visit us today or call us on 3522-222, 353-2222.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, and if you're just joining us, this is QTV News. The Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, in collaboration with the Office of the Imam Ratib of Banjul and the Gambia Christian Council, on Thursday held a forum on maintaining peace and unity during and after December 4th presidential election. Ajibintu Drami has more in this story.
Elections are critical times in the country. Therefore, the maintenance of peace is an absolute solution to avoid conflict. The Gambia has a unique communal harmony between religions, which is what brought these bodies together to preach and encourage people to ensure that peace and stability is maintained during the election period. Alhaji Cherno Maska, Imam Ratib of Banjul, says people should ensure peace is maintained and a fair election conducted for the development of the country.
If you are not voting, stay at home. Let the children stay at home. If you are voting, vote peacefully. Go home and wait for the results. Peace is significant to a country.
Reverend James Cole, representing the Interchurch and Interfaith of the Gambia Christian Council, urges Gambians to nurture peace during and after the election.
The election will come and it will go, and we will remain here. So when the election come, they go, we don't want for begin shame and begin look, we put we eye down where we meet, we company. So because of that, and Gambia Christian Council then collaborate and come together for conduct this press briefing for advise everybody and beg everybody within a Gambian within this country. Say make we do what we get for do with peace and love and unity, because we all are neighbors.
Organizers spoke in different languages in unison for the promotion of peace. Imam Esa Fode Dabo, the president of the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council, has this to say.
Let us have faith and accept the outcome of the election and believe that whatever the outcome, it is Allah's wish. We pray that whosoever wins will benefit us all. Let's come together as one.
Reverend Rodney Louis Prom, General Secretary of the Gambia Christian Council, made emphasis that people should ensure that tranquility and harmony prevails for everyone's interest.
All of us need the unity. All of us need the win. When one person wins on December 4th, one person, whoever wins, it's the whole of Gambia that wins. And that win will only be possible if at the end of the day, all of us would accept in peace, all of us would have behaved with maturity, all of us would have looked at each other with love.
Religious leaders can have huge following who believe in them, listen to them and heed to their advice. Hence, the significance of this convergence for sending a clear message to the people they lead that peace and unity are significant during and after elections.
May the Lord deliver us from the schemes of darkness. All the snares, the traps that the enemy is setting against this nation, may all of it fail in the name of Christ the Messiah. Thank you.
Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
A Swedish-based charity and NGO called Chigambas, whose goal is to improve the quality of life for poor children and uphold their rights in accordance with UNICEF's Convention on the Rights of Children, recently organized a convergence to reflect on their achievements and challenges during their 25 years in the Gambia. Alhaji A.F. Jallo reports.
Chikambas, which means Children in Gambia Basse and Sudwol, aims to find sponsors for Gambian children who lacks the means to pay school fees. Chikambas believes that all children have the right to an education and their future's prosperity is grounded in a decent education. A Swedish philanthropist, Jane Wickman, the Chikambas board chair, underscores the importance of education, saying the best way to support children is to give them quality education. He added that the board has a sustainability plan to continue the projects even after their retirement.
The most important is education. Help your children to send them to school. I know it's problems for many families. They have not money for that, but maybe they can try to send them to school. So that is the most important, absolutely. I talked to Bonama about that. So even here in Sweden, we must have a plan for that. So now we have the end of the year meeting now, in the 5th December. But we find young people to the board. So now we change one to another girl, a young girl. We hope they can take over when we are tired. Yeah.
Bunama Krubali, the program manager for Chikambas, highlighted some of the achievements registered by the organization and complementing government's effort in all sectors of development.
Today we are proud to announce to the general public that Chikambas has educated accountants, we have educated nurses, doctors, we have some of them in the service, we have them in all areas in this country. So therefore, I can proudly say that Chikambas has complemented or is complementing government efforts in all sectors.
Madi Trawale, a beneficiary parent, shared how Chikambas impacted his life and that of his family.
Chikambas is an institution that sponsors our children from nursery school to grade 12 up to university. For those that are not privileged to go to the university, There are skill centers that are allocated for them, and they carry on with these skill centers at no cost. We are not paying a butut. Chikamba is sponsoring our children from that level up to their level of graduation. We are not paying them one butut.
Sekumane, a former Chikamba-sponsored student, said the event is worthy as he has benefited a lot from Chikambas.
Actually, Chikambas, today I am one of the happiest I can say. The simple fact is I benefited from their package since when I was a toddler at an infant stage. Without Chikambas, what I am today wouldn't be achieved, or I wouldn't be able to achieve it.
Chikambas' main function is to find sponsors for children who cannot pay their school fees and work with communities to help build schools, skill centers, and support services which can bring development and uplift people's living condition. The association, formed in 1996, and works with villagers and families to help with the building of schools and support services, which brings together in partnership the community and development process. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alhaji A.F. Jallo.
That report by Alhaji A.F. Jallo will now take us to international news. In international news, today the 25th of November is International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. As in previous years, the day will also mark the launch of 16 days of activism to be concluded on the 10th of December, the day that commemorates the International Human Rights Day. More in this report.
This year's theme is Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now. The color orange has been chosen because, according to the UN website, the color represents a brighter future free of violence against women and girls. And people, organizations, and governments are encouraged to orange the offices, iconic buildings, landmarks, and social media, as well as use hashtags Orange the World and Generation Equality to remind the world of the need to eliminate violence against women and girls. In commemoration of the event, the Ministry of Women, Children and Social Welfare, together with the UN Population Fund and social advocacy groups, including the Network Against Gender-Based Violence, organized this morning an open forum to discuss the challenges and solutions to gender-based violence. The International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women was officially designated by the UN's General Assembly in the year 2000, but current statistics on gender-based violence around the world appear to show that not many gains have been made. If anything, the menace of gender-based violence has worsened with the advent of the pandemic, as report after report show an alarming rise in cases of domestic and sexual violence. A new report from UN Women, based on data from 13 countries since the pandemic, shows that 2 in 3 women reported that they or a woman they know experienced some form of violence, and only 1 in 10 victims went to the police for help. This country is no exception. The national coordinator of the Network Against Gender-Based Violence, Falu Sow, gives us a sobering statistic.
We have observed or seen an increase, an upsurge of sexual and gender-based violence cases during the coronavirus. For instance, when we compare 12 months before the pandemic, that is from 2019 to February, from March 2019 to February 2020, we had 45 cases that were reported to the network. But from March 2020, when the pandemic was pronounced here in the Gambia, to February 2021, we have seen a great increase of cases from 45 to 261 cases.
Nationally, according to some reports, around 1 in 3 women experience sexual or physical violence in their lifetime, similar to the global prevalence rate. However, the abuse remains largely unreported due to impunity, silence, stigma and fear, though in recent years, this picture appears to be undergoing change. Falu Sow again.
Looking at the statistics for the past 5-6 years, we can see a continuous increase in the number of cases being reported to the police, through Department of Social Welfare, to our network, and to other responsible institutions.
Still, many challenges remain. current legislation doesn't address some key aspects of gender-based abuse, such as the crime of attempted rape, which the government has promised to redress in a new Domestic Violence Act. But getting our legislative act together is one thing, and enforcing the laws quite another. The lack of an effective enforcement mechanism has been one of the weaknesses of our efforts to combat gender-based violence, according to SO. Further adding that, as well as enforcement, a special court should be created to expedite cases of gender-based violence. Institutional handicaps aside, social norms and beliefs form their own species of challenge. In a report prepared last year by the Institute for Human Rights and Development in Africa and the Gambia Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations, 67% of girls at the age of 18 and 19 believe that a man should beat his wife. International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women reminds us of the need to increase awareness, promote advocacy, and create opportunities for discussion on challenges and solutions to gender-based violence. For QTV News, I am Murumboch.
Well, I'm afraid we're being punched in the face by time, and thank you for watching QTV News. Join us again at 10 for another bulletin.